Welcome, everybody. Let's turn that mic on. Welcome, everybody. We're going to go ahead and call today's meeting to order. It is 5 o'clock, March 18th, 2024, our evening meeting of the Flagler County Board of County Commissioners. If everybody could please stand for the pledge to the flag. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. And we'll go ahead and this time we'll take a moment of silence. This is a brief moment for individual prayer, reflection, or meditation. We take this time to honor, remember our first responders and the men and women in our military who keep us safe and protect our freedoms at home and abroad. Thank you. All right, we have a little bit of bookkeeping to take care of at the beginning of the agenda. We've had one modification to the agenda. That's item 7H, supplemental agreement number 2 to state-funded grant agreement, SFGA, between the Florida Department of Transportation and Flagler County for the roadway stabilization construction of County Road 90 from Hickory Street to County Road 75 to increase the agreement, and the change was from $1.212 million to $1,876,243. That change was updated and is now posted on the agenda online. County offices are closed on March 29, 2024, in observance of Good Friday. Also, Flagler County is undertaking a major website redesign. We are currently asking for your feedback to help us improve usability and ease of navigation. If you're interested in providing your insights, there is a short survey which you can access from our main page, flaglercounty.gov. You can scroll down and see a box that says Website Redesign Feedback. On a mobile phone, look at the bottom right under Quick Links. We will also post a QR code on our social media accounts and hope that you will participate. It's very important to us that your user experience is a good one, and Flagler County website is an efficient tool that provides value to you. We still have some vacancies on our boards and councils. Flagler County solicits registered voters residing in Flagler County for some of our citizen volunteer boards and councils. We currently have an opening on the River to Sea TPO Citizens Advisory Committee, River to Sea TPO Bicycle Pedestrian Advisory Committee. The Affordable Housing Advisory Committee has 2 vacancies. Additionally, please be sure to keep an eye on our website for any boards that may have member terms expiring soon. If you're interested in any of these positions, we invite you to apply. Please visit the advisory board vacancies page on flaglercounty.gov to view further information regarding these openings or to apply. Positions are open until filled. Our upcoming commission meetings and workshops, we have a joint workshop with the County Commission, Flagler County School Board, and Flagler County Sheriff's Operations on a 5-year safety plan. That is Wednesday, March 20th at 9 a.m. And our next regular meeting is Monday, April 4th at 9 a.m. And we'll move on to first proclamation, our only proclamation tonight, which is National County Government Month, which is April 2024. That's requested by our county administration, and Commissioner O'Brien will read that. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. This is a proclamation of the Flagler County Board of County Commissioners proclaiming April the 1st through April the 30th, 2024 as National County Government Month in Flagler County. Whereas the nation's 3,069 counties, serving more than 330 million Americans, provide essential services to create healthy, safe, and vibrant communities. And whereas counties fulfill a vast range of responsibilities and deliver services that touch nearly every aspect of our residents' lives. And whereas Flagler County and all counties take pride in our responsibility to protect and enhance the health, well-being, and safety of our residents in efficient and cost-effective ways. And whereas under the leadership of the National Association of Counties, President Mary Jo McGuire, NACO is highlighting county leadership through the lens Forward Together program, celebrating the role of county governments in connecting, inspiring, and leading as intergovernmental partners. And whereas that role includes a responsibility to inspire county residents to engage with their communities and to lead by highlighting our strength as intergovernmental partners, and whereas each year since 1991, the National Association of Counties has encouraged counties across the country to elevate awareness of county responsibilities, programs, and services. And whereas the employees of Flagler County provide an array of services in areas including health and human services, building, emergency management, engineering, financial services, fire rescue, general services, growth management, innovation technology, land management, libraries, parks and recreation, planning, public works, tourism, economic development, transportation, and veteran services. Now therefore be it proclaimed by the Flagler County Board of County Commissioners that we hereby proclaim April 1st through April the 30th, 2020 as National County Government Month, and encourage all residents to participate in county government activities and to remember that through the lens of Forward Together, we can connect, inspire, and lead. Adopted this 18th day of March, 2024, attested by Tom Bexley, Clerk of the Circuit Court and Controller, and signed by our Chair, Mr. Andrew Dance.
Thank you, sir. Did you want a motion for that?
Yes, please. Mr. Chair, move approval of the proclamation.
Motion by Commissioner O'Brien, second by Commissioner Sullivan. All those in favor say aye.
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 Welcome, Ms. Albanese. How are you today?
Good evening, Commissioners. Holly Albanese, Chief of Special Projects, Library Director. Two proclamations that I really enjoy presenting: National County Government Month and actually National Library Week, which is coming up in April. So you'll see me again. So tonight I wanted to talk about National County Government Month. This is sponsored by NACO. And this year, as mentioned in the proclamation, Forward Together is sort of the theme: connect, inspire, and it went too far. There we go. One more. Okay. So National County Government Month is held each April. And this year, Mary Jo McGuire, the president of NACO, chose that theme, Forward Together, along with 3 pillars. The pillars are connect, inspire, and lead. And we're going to talk about each pillar individually. So the first one is connect, or building peer bridges. So now they talk about the county officials have a proud culture of finding common ground and common sense solutions. So relationships matter among county officials, whether it be the local entities or to statewide associations, whether that be our Florida Association of Counties, NEFRC. We have unlimited potential to harness through our networks and connections with nearly 40,000 elected officials and 3.6 million professionals. So this allows us to advance excellence and merit trust in county government. If you'll notice, I tried to pick images that kind of reflect the particular pillar that we're discussing. So the pictures include when we were at the annual conference, Florida Association of Counties. That was in January when we attended Legislative Day, as well as an image of all of the commissioners and County Administrator Heidi Petito with Speaker Renner. And then, of course, County Administrator Heidi Petito with our municipal partners. So the next pillar has to do with inspire, or community engagement. We lead most effectively when we listen and engage with all our residents. And those residents are our community partners, the public, and includes the youth and our underserved. And so again, the images in this particular one hopefully reflect that particular pillar. We have in the top in Advent Health, which we work with Advent Health to do the breast cancer awareness, where we bring the pink fire truck out, and they do a proclamation at that time in October. Another picture of Flagler County Fire Rescue engaging with youth on fire safety, and then our human resources team. They actually participated in an outreach event at Buddy Taylor Middle School. Our third pillar is lead. So this has to do with intergovernmental relationships. So it's not just local, but it could be statewide or federal, but we must amplify and elevate the awareness, relationships, and understanding of our federal, state, and local partners. So the images, again, in this reflect those types of activities. In the top, that is a picture of the recent statewide emergency management collaboration workshop that we held here in Flagler County. As a matter of fact, the Florida Department of Emergency Management Director, Kevin Guthrie, attended as well. The second picture is the bridge, the Flagler County Greenways pedestrian bridge, and that's the ribbon cutting. And that was with Florida Department of Transportation, that project, along with all the other engineers and contractors that were involved in seeing that project to fruition. And the third picture in this one is of the first annual economic development initiative that we held at the Economic Development Office along with our municipal partners. So throughout the U.S., there are 3.6 million county employees providing services to more than 314 million residents. And the counties invest across the United States more than $600 billion total, and that includes construction of public facilities, building infrastructure, public works, correctional facilities, sheriff, fire, veteran services, county courts, parks. They build parks and community centers, libraries, and cultural centers, and of course, engage in elections from presidential to local. So some of the services provided here, and I know it was mentioned in the proclamation, so I'll just highlight a couple because it includes constitutionals as well. So innovative technology, 911, financial services, permitting, adult daycare, planning, human resources, land management, public works, transportation, fire rescue, firefight, senior services, jail and law enforcement, clerk of court, library, health department, veteran services, the airport, property appraiser, tax collector, and supervisor of elections. Of course, there's a lot more listed there. So we have a lot of projects coming soon, and I think it's always good to just highlight the projects that we have. Some of these are being paid for as a legislative priority, and others may have ARPA funds attached. But some of these include Central Commerce Parkway, the Army Corps project, beach nourishment, Willow Woods, sewer on the Barrier Island, the Nexus Center, stormwater improvements, major land management plan update, the comprehensive plan, general aviation terminal apron expansion, the new fire stations, men's residential treatment facility, aviation terminal, eco discovery center, replacement for Cattlemen's Hall, and drone airfield, and the last one is the Bull Creek Campground, which I know you guys discussed today, so we added that. So this is really the end of my presentation. I like to end it with some pictures of staff set to music, and so I ask that everybody just take a moment to reflect on everything that the staff do all year long and for Flagler County and its residents. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So could I ask that we do a picture with all the staff, since we have a lot of
Absolutely.
staff here tonight? And I'll be able to use it in next year's annual report.
Absolutely. Come on.
Everybody who's here,
You'll have to.
Heidi, Jorge, Al, come on. I want everybody up.
I think they gotta do it in front.
Thank you, sir.
Little staff. 400.
Carlos won't be in it.
Carlos won't be in the picture.
I'm always.
Yay.
Look at each one.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, staff. Thank you, guys. Thank you, staff.
Right, thank you.
Does anybody want to have any extra comments?
I just want to just say one thing, and I know all you, my fellow commissioners, feel the same thing and have experienced it, where we go and talk to to citizens groups or different groups, and a lot of times people do not understand or even know about a lot of the services that the county provides. It just amazes me that happens. We come across that all the time, and I always like to say, you may not think about us or the services that the county provides, but you know it if we're not delivering them.
Right. And we have that card, what do we do?
Yeah.
And I gave one of those to the mayor to help him.
Well, we didn't have all 400 plus employees here today, but want to thank
Yeah.
all of our staff members for what they do on a daily basis.
And I just, yeah, go ahead, I'm sorry.
No, go ahead.
Professionalism and talent. We got a lot of talent, a lot of good professional people keeping us out of trouble.
And it amazes me when you get a request, they ask me for a whole lot of questions answered, and there's one person on the staff that does that, not 10, one, and we're lean and mean, and they do a good job.
Yep. Thank you for that proclamation, Ali. All right, next on the agenda is our presentation. We have the first up is Transparency Dashboard Update, and Mr. Salinas is here.
Chair, Commissioners, you hear me?
Nope.
You can use just the big mic. Use that, that's perfect.
Okay, you hear me now? Perfect. So I wanted to go over the transparency dashboard to provide a little bit of information of what this entails, and also provide our residents some information on things that are information that is collected by the county and work that is done by the county, and some metrics that we capture so everybody can see those. Our transparency dashboard, this main page that you're seeing, was developed by Carlos Hernandez, and we have 14 dashboard cards that comprise this dashboard right now. We're working on the 15th dashboard card, which will be a card that contains all the engineering projects, the vertical projects that the engineering team is working on, and also the roadwork projects that they're working on. Also, beach related projects will be on the engineering dashboard as well. So that's actually been in the works, and it's the work for the vertical projects and some of the road projects. The work is being done today by Taylor Phillips from GIS, Richard Zion and Amanda from engineering. And the work for the beach project is Taylor Phillips from GIS and his team, and also Ansley Renkey for that one. So on the first one that we have here is the strategic plan dashboard. And our strategic plan was reviewed and updated by the board recently, or a few months ago. So now it goes from 2023 to 2024. And here we have the 4 different themes that our dashboard is comprised of: effective government, economic vitality, growth and infrastructure, and public health and safety. These were updated for FY24 Q1. And as you can see, there's different legends. Yellow means caution. Green is on target. And blue is there's no information yet because that particular item is not being worked on, or there's no sufficient information to actually report on. So for example, if we go to some of these, like for example, the first one, which is prioritizing support and flexibility within the budget to successfully navigate unforeseen expenditures. This is related to the reserves. So these right now stands at 93.32%. We have a card that details this information as well. So all the different sections within the dashboard for the strategic plan have been updated. So you can go to any of these and look at them up and then drill down on each of these items. This is another one here, EV 1.1.1, the comprehensive plan. This also has a card within the strategic dashboard. This is Adam and his team, and Simone is, I believe, the lead for this project at this time. They're at 51.87%, but you'll see in the card what step milestone they are completing at this time. Going back to the second card. Go back here. Where do your taxes go? So this is another card that was developed by our GIS team. And right now what we do is actually display a property, which is Aldi's here in State Road 100. So before even you type your address to determine how your taxes are spent here in the county, it gives you a picture of what this information looks like. So for example, Aldi's pays $20,508 in county taxes. And the distribution of those taxes is that $6,300 go to law enforcement, $3,200 go to fire, and there's other services breakdown that these dollars go to. So if I picked here, this is Wendy's. So Wendy's here on Commerce Parkway, $6,998. The same thing, the distribution, law enforcement, fire, and any resident can type their address and get this information to see how their property taxes specific to their property are used by the county. The next one is open finance. This is looking directly into the behind the scenes and the financial books here in the county. So we have two different sections in it. The first one is a general fund financial summary. This is the revenues for the general fund. This is the adopted budget for the general fund and the top vendors. And then the second set of cards in the bottom is countywide financials, but this includes enterprise funds and others that are not general fund. So that's why the difference there. And then we also break it down by the vendors, the top vendors for all the funds that are within the county. If you scroll to the bottom, it tells you when was this last updated. So this particular numbers that you'll see here were updated yesterday. So if you go to budget and you can explore revenues, it gives you the revenues for the different categories. So general fund revenues, and it tells you on the revenue side that we're expecting to receive $173 million for general fund, and we have received thus far $109 million. So it keeps track of how the revenues are coming in for each of the categories. Then we have the operating expenditure, which is the same. It just has the same categories, and out of those funds that were assigned, the $173 million that were assigned for general fund to the BOCC side, 78.14 million were actually spent. And you can drill down on any of these to see how these dollars were spent. For example, out of the 54 million that is expected to go to the constitutional officers, the board has sent thus far 32.21 million, which is 59.41% of the revised budget. And if you click on the constitutionals, it tells you which of these constitutional officers are part of this mix. Law enforcement, the sheriff has from this particular fund 29.85 million, and 17.41 has been sent to the sheriff. Tax collector 4.16 million, and 3.77 have been sent. The next one here on the top, we just went through exploring revenue and operating budget. The next one is exploring spending. So this particular one, the checkbook, gives you a detailed representation of how the money was actually spent and goes down to the check level that the clerk cuts for the different organizations. So for example, if you look at constitutional officers and that are funded by the general fund, there's other monies that fund the constitutional officers, these three different categories. The first one, let's say tax collector, for example, and we can see on the tax collector, and you click checkbook, and you can see the checks that were sent on to that office. The other thing that we can do is, for example, if you want to know how much this, if this request came to us a few years ago and somebody said, how much you spent on electricity here in the county, it would have taken months and months to collect those information. But now you can just say, Florida Power, and if you look at last year, the county spent $1.38 million on electricity. And if you look at the checkbook itself, you can drill down by different sections. Like, for example, the airport on this particular address spent $105. And here's the check number and the date that that payment was made. So we have all the details for every check that goes out of the county, and everything is recorded here. And you can download this and do analysis on the information. Anybody can do that. Here, thus far, this year, that started in October, the county spent $511 on electricity. Now, another one that I wanted to see was like CRAs. CRAs are checks that the county collects those dollars, but the properties are frozen at a particular year, and any revenues in, changes in that property price, the appraisal of the property price, goes to the CRA. So for example, I'll go to top here. So in 2023, the county sent the city of Palm Coast $1.65 million for CRA dollars. These are part of that tax increment finance, the TIF. And that check was sent. Go back here to Palm Coast, city of Palm Coast. Go back one. Checkbook expenditure. Okay. Let me see if I can get it from here. So the CRA for 2023, if you go to the checkbook, that check for $1.6 million was sent to the city on 12/16/2022, which is actually within that fiscal year. The check number is $200,599. So all the transactions, like I mentioned on this particular, for the county, are all recorded here, and all the checks are available for anybody to see how they spend. Even if a vendor types their information here, they can actually see all the checks that are supposed to be shipped to them. I want to go back real quick and show the vendor information here. So if we explore vendors, we have all these vendors that the county has issued a check for. Here we have the helicopter, Airbus, and the different checks that were issued for this particular purchase thus far. So any vendor can come and put their name if they've done business with the county and they were expecting a check. They can see when the check was issued and the check number.
Can I ask a question?
Yes, sir.
Does this information comply with a public records request? So, for example, if someone says, I want to know all the money we spent, on FPL bills or another vendor or whatever, can you point them to this website
Yes.
and say it's there, and you don't actually have to give them all the paper documentation?
Yeah, if that would satisfy a lot of the questions. That's one of the reasons we're doing this. But if they want something else, we'll have the conversation with the resident or the person and see if this doesn't satisfy what they're looking for. But anything financial related will be here. So I'm going to go to my next card. So we just touched on open finance. The next one is operating reserves. So the operating reserves that we saw on one of the prior cards, here for FY23, the number is 5,920,000. Each item that gets a deduction from the reserves has an item that you can click back, and it takes you back to that particular agenda item. And then you can look at the explanation or information about that agenda item. This particular one is regarding the settlement for the Bing's Landing settlement. The next one is the 212s reserve. This one is for emergency cases, like in case of storms and other events like that. And the 212s reserve is 16,749,000. Again, here it tells you the approved date of this deduction, these $5.3 million that were deducted from this reserve, and the item number, and also some description. As you can see here, for the Army Corps of Engineer project, the board, we were expecting to front some cash, and then actually during this meeting, we received notice that the money was going to be wired, so we actually canceled that particular item, and the only money that went to the Corps was the local match that was required by Flagler County.
Just, if I wanted to know what the reserves were in that category today, would I just put the date in and it would come up?
It's, when you click on it, that's how much it is. This is updated as any item comes in.
Okay, so it's per item.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
It's real time. Whatever finance, Brian gives me when an item is going to be hitting the board's agenda, I get that item. Once it's approved, we publish the updated, so it's always updated with anything that's been approved by the board. The next card is the strategic plan itself that was approved for 2023 through 2028. This one also has the information that was updated during that time for the prior year. And so once we close this fiscal year in September, we'll be updating these roles for any of this information. So when this document or this, the strategic plan was approved initially, these two columns were blank. And as each year passed, we'll be able to populate this information so we know how we did that year and then compare ourselves against other years. The next one is a BOCC monthly update. We've been doing this for a little while now, a couple years. And this one has a lot of great information regarding all the work that the departments are doing. So, for example, this one that says February of 2024 looks back at January. So it's always looking, we report on the month, but for the prior month. So here you can see the library services, how many visits they had, how many items were circulated, some information about legislative and special projects, veteran services, how many veterans customer services were provided by our veteran services group. We have here IFAS, how many residents inquire and require assistance. We have fire rescue, how many calls they processed in the month of January, which were a little bit over 1,600. We have how many fire structures or vehicle or wireline related fires they worked on, and this covers the last 3 years. So this month of January, you can see the pink one here in the last 2 years, and then all the rest of the years. Also, medical calls are recorded here as well in all other categories. We have emergency management, how many training exercises they've held, how many outreach they've done, how many people they have enrolled. All this information is captured here as well. For the airport, we have the arrivals and departure going back a few years. We have also here how much avgas and Jet A fuel the airport has sold. As you can see here for 2024, avgas and jet fuel are much higher than prior 2 years. Financial services grant tracking. We have a total of 70 grants that we're currently tracking. The award amounted, which is a little bit over 161 million, and how much has been reimbursed thus far. What of the upcoming or expected grant dollars coming in? Also on this side, we have general services, the transportation, how many trips they've done, how many miles they've covered, and then it compares against the prior month, how many vehicles are in services. In terms of garbage collection, how many residents or customers are there today, and how much has gone up from Q3 to Q4. Road and bridge, the maintenance work. Also facility, how many work orders and how many work orders for maintenance, a worker, parks, information, the rentals, the cottages, how much reservations are there. We have on this side the communication team, how many press releases they've put out, how many posts, how many items have been picked up by local media. And also on this side, we have the growth management for January. The number of new planning and zoning applications that have come in January, and then you can see the prior months, how many permits were issued and compared to other months, and then how many permit applications were received, as well as how many building inspections they've conducted. Engineering, all the engineering projects, we have the Commerce Parkway that will be having a groundbreaking ceremony coming up with a little information. This will be covered in more detail in a particular dashboard card that is coming up here in the next month or so. Health and Human Services, how many folks they have enrolled in the adult daycare, how many meals they've served, how many congregate meals they've served last month, how many Meals on Wheels they provided to the residents last month. Some information about intake, utility assist, housing, CHIP active cases, we have 17. And then economic development, we have here the labor force for December of 2023 was at 52,459. Employment rate, single-family medium sales price, and some other facts here. IT, how many tickets they closed that are related to the county, how many tickets they closed that are related to the sheriff's office, and the total of tickets. Human resources, the turnover rate compare from the prior months, and then total employees, number of hires, how many vacancies we have. We also have from the tourism on Amy's side, total revenues compared to last year. In terms of occupancy rate and the daily cost, December 22 against 23. Also via Airbnb and VRBO. And then financial services, how many on the purchasing side, how many invoices, how many P cards, how many POs. So this particular card and communication document has a lot of information of things that are going out throughout the county. I encourage everybody in the county and residents to take a look at this document. It goes back, like I said, many, many months, years, in fact, when we work on putting this together. The next one is a comp plan. I touched on this earlier, what we had Adam and his team in growth management, Adam and Chuck, and also have, my understanding is they have Simone, one of our planners, leading this project. As of now, you can look at where we're at, and the milestone that we're working on, or the team is working on, is drafting the goals, objectives, and policies. The board will have another opportunity, or the resident will have another opportunity for the public workshop number 3 that is going to be scheduled in June. We're still on track for completing this project by November of 2024. The next one is a feral hog. Mike Lagacy provided this, worked with Taylor Phillips and GIS, and they have an up and running feral hog dashboard. Only a Flagler County. So these will be here. Anybody, there's a way of submitting for feral hogs. The yellows are submitted, receive, or pause, and the greens are canceled or processed.
You're going to get us on the next episode of Florida Man with that dashboard.
So, so this is a way for the residents to communicate any sightings, and so it's updating what's been processed on this side, and then the new ones that people submit will be on this side. The next card is a budget in brief. This one is a document that finance prepares for the budget process, and it contains a condensed high-level data points of the budget for Flagler County, the millage, the taxable increase compared to last year. And then here it breaks it down at high level, how many of these funds, what is the amount of these funds that are going to the different categories. The next one is the annual report. I'm just gonna say we have this here. Heidi's presentation is gonna cover this one, so I'm just gonna skip this one for now. But once her presentation is complete, folks can come here and get information about this, download it or print it. The next card is the Florida scorecard. This one is published by the Florida Chamber of Commerce, and it provides a lot of great information that related to Flagler County. So these are specific to Flagler County and has different categories like talent, supply, and education, innovation and economic development, infrastructure and growth leadership. So these are all related to Flagler County, and it's good kind of post check on how different areas from economic perspective are available for the residents here. The next card is part of a initiative that Heidi wanted the communication team to work on. Is the Coast to Country magazine. These are published, believe in a quarterly manner or sequence. This is the latest one. Julie Murphy is the editor for this magazine under the leadership of Holly. And here's another instance or example of the communication team providing information to the counties on different things that are going on throughout the county. Very nice, well done magazine. And there's multiple versions. I'm only linking to the latest version as they update it. It'll be linked here. The last one that we have that has been completed is the Citizen Advisory Board one. This one was recently done. This is the work of Lucy Dance and Taylor Phillips. Lucy maintains a spreadsheet of all this information, and it was just maintained on a spreadsheet. Taylor and Lucy got together and talked about creating a dashboard for us so we can have it here. So this one has all the boards, or all the advisory boards that are under the purview or that work, and somehow we have somebody assigned or are working here for the Flagler County. So as you hover over this, so right now, this one, each card provides some information on the function of that board. But if you hover over it, it gives you detail of when it was established, what ordinance made this happen, the membership mix of how this is built, the appointments, like this one is 3-year staggered, the meeting dates and what day of the month they're meeting, also the meeting location and the staff liaison with phone number and email. But if you go up a little bit here, once you just hover over it, you can click and see the current members for it and their term when the term expires. So each of these cards will have similar information for each of these. The ones that are related to the TPO go directly to the TPO, like for membership, go directly to their TPO website because it's not under us here. We just participate in it. And all the other boards that you, as a Board of County Commissioner, appoint folks to, you'll be able to click here and get the information about who's a member, when they meet, and also invite residents to look at this and see if they want to be part of these boards. So the last thing I just wanted to, that's all I had. I'm just going to put this up for a couple seconds here. And the way to get to this is flaglercounty.gov/data, or I added a QR code if somebody just wants to go ahead and take a photo of that. It takes you directly to the transparency dashboard. That's all I had. Any questions?
Questions? Comments?
So where's the link on the homepage?
On the homepage,
Because I was on there. I'm having
Yeah.
a hard time trying to
yeah,
find it.
let's go there. It's in a couple places. So if we go here, Flagler County. So if you go to departments, it's either, you can find it here in government under Board of County Commissioners. It's going to be Transparency Dashboard. Or if you go to departments under administration, you click administration and you'll find it there as well. But the easiest way is just typing flaglercounty.gov/data and it takes you there.
So why wouldn't we have a link just on the homepage?
Oh, it's here too. It's here on the homepage.
Where?
It's in here on the quick links. It's Transparency Dashboard.
No, I'm talking about
Oh,
the
I'm not showing that. Let me just, sorry about that. I still have this page up.
Yeah, we can't see your
Yeah.
mouse moving around, but it's the mobile is going to be different, right? Mobile platform is different from the web-based.
Yeah.
so that's my issue.
Yeah.
You can't put a link on the mobile.
No, you'll see it.
Okay.
Yeah, you can get to it easy, but
What happened?
Just
If we
save
close this here,
Get to
don't
it.
save.
Right.
Okay,
but
let me take you there. You'll see. So first,
standard point.
we have under government.
Yeah, but see this is the regular website.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's
That's
website, yeah. Under
I was looking
government-
at the mobile site.
Oh, okay. So, yeah, and then here we have it in quick links, transparency, or department under administration. We have transparency here.
Yeah.
But if you just type flaglercounty.gov/data, it takes you there, or that QR code that I just put up there.
Well, I know it's been a lot of work getting all this data combined and into a format that any regular user can kind of manipulate and find what they're looking for. So I appreciate the effort behind it and getting the one and the original transparency dashboard out there.
I wonder, Mr. Chairman, if any other county does this, and we should put ourselves in for some kind of an award for this. No, I'm serious.
It's a great way to
It's
break down what's
yeah.
going on in county government.
It
for
is
sure.
amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah, we should
You know, it's just it's great. And
It's
the amount
great.
of data in there.
submit
is
it to
fantastic.
FAC or somebody. Say,
I
hey,
know
look
we're
If you're
writing-
willing to
look-
go
look
to
what
the
we do.
transparency thing, you can find out almost anything.
anything
We're
you
going to
wanna know.
submit, that's a good idea. We're going to submit for the NACO award, one of these, this dashboard, some of these pieces of the dashboard.
Yeah,
Is
it's amazing.
some of that financial information being given from Munis? Like, is there?
Yes.
That's a link to.
This one here, Open Finance, come from you.
Yeah, so that's an example of when we spent millions of dollars on that software, how
Mm-hmm.
that's benefiting us. I mean, one of many ways, but that's a
Yeah.
a,
We added this,
function of it,
right.
correct?
We
Yeah.
added this module, so this actually exposes all those finance and all the complexity behind a county finance software. Now it's made easy through this module.
Yeah.
So I just want to just say the last thing is say thank you to the Board of County Commissioners and Heidi for supporting us through this process and allowing us to work on something like this for the residents, because I think it's very important. And I don't think, the county has not had this something like this before, and I don't know many counties in Florida that have something like this.
That's my point.
Yeah.
We're doing really well.
Yeah.
This is really nice.
Well, thank you, sir.
Okay.
Appreciate
Thank you
it.
very much.
Thank
That's
you.
great.
Use it.
Well, that's the key, is making sure we get the message out and get.
Yeah, I use it for on a monthly basis. I go through the special assessment in the West, so I've been using it.
All right, and next on the agenda is our annual report presentation by our administrator, Ms. Petito.
Thank you. You all should have received a copy of the Flagler County 2023 Annual Report. We actually just picked them up today. They were able to print maybe half of our order, so we'll have the rest tomorrow to be able to start handing out to the public and our community partners. As we reflect on the achievements of Flagler County government over the past year, I'm filled with profound sense of gratitude and pride in what we've been able to accomplish together. I've had the privilege of working alongside and supporting our executive team and staff as we implement the vision and policies of the board. Together, we've reached some remarkable milestones and made significant stride towards collective goals that we've outlined in the strategic plan. The annual report highlights the progress of our initiatives, our projects, and many accomplishments within our departments. I value and commend the efforts of our professional, dedicated employees. They strive every day to meet the Flagler County mission by embracing our core values in the delivery of exceptional services to our community. I want to extend my deepest appreciation to each of you for your continued dedication, passion, and hard work as we embark on a new chapter of growth and opportunity. Your contributions are a driving force behind our success, and I'm honored to lead such an exceptional team. I look forward to the many successes that lie ahead for Flagler County. The book in total is about 60 pages. I'm going to try to keep it as brief as I can for sake of time. Just over the last year, Flagler County experienced a growth of just over 6,500 new residents, which equates to about a 5% increase in our overall county population from the previous year. Here's a look at that award-winning 2024 Florida Association of Counties calendar shot representing the canals in Palm Coast. That was submitted to us through a Palm Coast resident, Lori Vetter Bowers. It represents the month of November on the FAC calendar. Collaborating with our community partners, I think that we all do better together, and I think that our strong relationships with our municipal partners and state agencies has led to more teamwork and collaboration than ever before. We have a focus on community. We've brought forward a unified voice for Flagler's legislative program. We've held purposeful summits on long-range planning and capital projects. We've talked about economic development, resiliency, and the future of our community. We even held the first statewide emergency management collaboration workshop, which brought together representation from all 67 counties, including the state DEM. It was held this year at the EOC. Together, we're focused on our infrastructure, our stormwater, our dune and beach renourishment, economic development, conservation lands, public safety, and providing exceptional community celebrations in Flagler County. It's a collective effort that moves our community forward, enhancing a shared vision for Flagler County. We are an organization of dedicated professionals, employees who are kind-hearted and always willing to offer a helping hand. These are just a few of the many ways our employees give back to the community. And then through our strategic planning process, we've developed a structure to support our core values by putting Flagler first through fiscal accountability, innovative solutions, responsible growth, superior service, and transparent government, which helps us make a difference in our community. And as an organization, we are living our core practices through the delivery of the wow factor. In superior service, we connect with citizens demonstrating the highest standards of public service, accepting accountability, exhibiting respect, employing the team approach, exercising responsible stewardship of the community's resources, and living our culture by putting Flagler first, making a difference. This page also demonstrates the numerous awards and achievements that we were recognized for in 2023. And then providing a positive customer experience to individuals who interact with government agencies is critical to improving transactions across all levels of government. These are some of the testimonials and the comments that we've received back from the public over the last year. And it's also important to provide a structure and a means for employees to flourish and feel valued, because employees are the true backbone of any organization, and Flagler County, excuse me, Flagler County has some very dedicated professionals. Whether it's a team award or an individual award, we wanted to take a moment to highlight the many professional accomplishments of our dedicated, talented staff. Last year, we held our first annual Bring a Kid to Work Day. It was a great opportunity for our employees to bring their families into their place of work and to share what they do. It was a huge success. Not only was it for the board's employees, but as you know, it was also done in collaboration with our other constitutional officers. This is just a small glimpse of the participants as we look back on that day. We look forward to hosting this again next month, actually, Thursday. We're going to be doing it on April 25th at the EOC. We've already are making plans and looking forward to doing that again. We've worked well with our legislative delegation to advocate for Flagler County's interest. In '23, we were successful in securing funding for the construction of the combined fire administration fire station in Station 62, and then the integrated stabilization unit and men's residential treatment facility. That's a partnership with SMA Healthcare, as well as funding for conservation lands. Last year, we received $23 million in legislative appropriations. And although the collective legislative priority program for the entire community is much larger, this is just a list of the Flagler County specific requests that were submitted with a focus on public health and safety, infrastructure, community resiliency, as well as conservation and open space. And then working with a focus on transparency and communication to the public, we wanted to look for different ways to help tell our story. This page compares the dollar and how it's being spent monthly. By comparing high-quality county services with monthly subscription services for streaming. Most county residents probably pay more for entertainment than they do on county services. And as a supporter of continuous quality improvement, we're providing accountability for our actions, being a government driven by good management, not crisis, driven by input from all levels of staff and stakeholders, creating an environment in which the leadership, management, and employees strive to create, constantly improving quality in the delivery of our service to the community. And with an eye on our future, Flagler County continues to make intentional, proactive, strategic steps to strengthen our financial position while also increasing transparency, innovation, and operational efficiencies. You saw this through the transparency website. This is the budget in brief, providing a good summary of our budget in detail with some capital improvement highlights. And then this is just a continuation showing the reserves, the sources of revenue, and how the funds are being used by category. This is a breakdown by the numbers of some of the high-quality services with optimized resources being provided by our organization. And then exercising responsible stewardship and accountability of the community's resources. This is just another breakdown of where the money comes from and how it's being utilized. It's not a surprise, but property taxes make up almost 40% of our revenue. And then on the expense side, we've got almost 22% being held back for reserves. And I'm probably not going to go into a lot of detail through all the departments, but you'll start seeing a trend as we move through the departments. There's department highlights, an opportunity to share numbers as a way of quantifying their workload, understanding, of course, that this is not an all-inclusive list of everything that these departments do. There's some project updates, a focus on collaboration and partnerships, as well as community education and outreach. So in administration, we work hard to align the board's priorities with optimized resources, continuing to find better ways to tell our story with a focus on customer service, transparency, communication, and public engagement. As you saw earlier, we developed many new transparency dashboards, and we're looking to develop a few more, providing a tool to share for the effectiveness of county government. And lastly, I believe that as local government, that we all are in it together. It's much better to work in collaboration with our municipal partners, as we all have limited resources. And so in order to get a lot done, we must be working together. This is a look at our county attorney's office, who works hard to provide legal advice at board meetings. They perform legal research and offer advisory opinions. They also respond to requests from administration, the Board of County Commissioners, county staff, or the public. They work on drafting and reviewing contracts, ordinances, other legal documents. This past year, a big lift from this department has been their involvement with land certification, obtaining easements and assistance to the Dune and Beach project. They also worked on negotiating some new contracts for residential solid waste removal. They updated our maximum towing rates and requirements for the sheriff's towing log. They also updated the local building property maintenance codes and drafted an interlocal agreement for the extension of utility lines on the barrier island, working in partnership with the city of Palm Coast. This is communications. Together, we were able to increase our social media presence and continue our series of newsletters, monthly briefings, and Coast to Country quarterly digital magazine. We've held informative discussions, public meetings. We've conducted surveys to further advance our level of engagement and outreach within the community. Even though this past year in 2023, we were a little short-staffed in this division, we were actually able to increase our news releases by 33% over last year, and our social media posts by 78% over the previous year. I'm excited to see how we can grow our communication efforts now that we've brought on that second member, and we're underway to do some interviews for a manager in that department. Looking at growth management, the comp plan kicked off last year. It's underway. It should be completed by November of '24. We adopted the International Property Maintenance Code. We've got a better path moving forward with code enforcement cases utilizing a special magistrate. We've got a lot of employee growth in this department when it comes to expanding their knowledge, obtaining certifications, and additional licensing. Permit applications and building inspections were trending pretty much the same as they were in 2022. However, we are experiencing more planning and zoning applications and an uptick in code cases and lien searches in 2023. Emergency management, the Flagler County Emergency Management obtained accreditation through the Emergency Management Accreditation Program. That makes us one of only 7 counties in the state of Florida who have achieved this milestone. EM works hard applying for grants and reimbursements related to emergency preparedness, storm recovery and reimbursement, as well as mitigation opportunities. Last year, we were able to send resources to Madison County to support their response and recovery efforts. And we coordinated a full-scale exercise with our public safety partners at the new Advent Health on Palm Coast Parkway. We continue to train and work with our volunteers and community partners, building a prepared and resilient community. Looking at engineering, our dune restoration work is complete, as is the beach management study. We now shift to build back our beach in the summer of 2024. We've completed many resurfacing and roadway projects along Malacompra, First Ave, and the Phase 1 of County Road 90, which is the segment from Hickory to County Road 305. We have several other roadway projects that are in design or nearly complete. We've opened the Graham Swamp Greenway pedestrian trail connecting the Lehigh Trail through Graham Swamp and over State Road 100. This will connect to the Bulow Creek Headwaters Regional Park, which is already in the design and planning phase. And here's just a quick glance at the numbers coming out of engineering, looking at the funding over the past year. Ongoing roadway construction projects has increased by approximately 3.4 million, which is actually an increase of about 15%. Upcoming roadway construction projects have also increased by approximately 1.7 million, which represents an increase of almost 10%. And then the beach and dune nourishment projects have increased by just over 14 million, representing an increase of 34%. That takes us to the Flagler Executive Airport. In '23, we saw the completion of the T-hangar construction project, which brought online 42 new units and a new revenue source for the airport. We also saw Taxiway Alpha rehabilitation project completed, along with the medium-intensity taxiway light system and some pavement markings. Our daily operations and fuel sales have also increased by 22% and 10%, respectively. And then here's a list of some notable events that happened at the airport. Everything from employee retirements of longtime employees, public events, recognition, and awards. And then taking a look at our extension services, here are some highlights. We see an increase in the programming and activities being offered at that extension program, as well as an increase in the number of volunteer hours that are being provided. They were also able to secure an educational grant for some research and demonstration plots for fruit cultivation. They developed a new program called Florida 101, which is aimed at educating new Flagler County residents to the local ecosystem, organisms, and how to be a Florida-friendly resident. And then this year, under new leadership, we added the Flagler County Health Department to our annual review. The dedicated staff at the health department work to provide valuable services to our residents in the areas of clinical and nutrition, dental, oral health, WIC, environmental health, infectious disease, vital statistics, and emergency preparedness and response. That brings up financial services. The conservative fiscal approaches that we have taken continue to position us well as our organization is fiscally sound overall. This is the fourth straight year that we did not have to take out a tax anticipation note. It's also the 14th straight year that we've received the Government Finance Officer Association Distinguished Budget Award. But in 2023, we received special recognition for our capital improvement program for the first time in Flagler County history. And then this is our second year of developing a budget in support of our strategic plan. We continue to improve on the budget process, demonstrating more transparency, and have really achieved cost minimization through a competitive process and increased our efficiency in procurement. That brings up fire rescue. Fire rescue response continues to grow. Last year, we experienced approximately a 2.5% increase in call volume over the previous year. In '23, we transitioned fire EMS-related supplies into a logistic division within fire rescue. And through that move and the implementation of an operative IQ inventory tracking software, that department was able to save more than $70,000 in taxpayer funds. Another major achievement in fire rescue is with Fireflight, the ability to replace the '98 Fireflight helicopter with a 2023 model of the same platform. Fire rescue continues to work in partnership and collaboration with Flagler Cares and the Health Department on our community opioid response with the medication assistance treatment program provided through our community paramedics. They also were awarded grants to improve the E911 phone system and databases. And then the county's radio team, they were able to complete the updating of the county radio system, which now allows radios to automatically transfer over to Wi-Fi in the event that they lose connection to the radio frequency. And in general services, they've got a lot going on. They were able to complete the Carver expansion, as well as the Health Department Dental Lab. They performed renovations to numerous buildings, including the Health Department Justice Center, the GTM NER, the GSB, and Station 62. Within parks, they completed the Wadsworth Dog Park and made significant repairs to fishing piers and elevated boardwalks. Many of these divisions within general services continue to work on maintenance-related tasks. Public transportation introduced some new software through Route Match, which allows for the customer to have more flexibility in information scheduling their trips. This is just a list of some of the community outreach within the department and a list of some of the activities and numbers. Veteran Service, this year, they were able to work in partnership with the City of Bunnell to co-host a blended Veterans Day ceremony, which really had a great turnout. They've been able to increase their numbers with the amount of veteran services being provided. Human Resources has really expanded in their training and outreach. We have attended more job fairs and have looked to increase the amount of training that's going out to the employees, as well as holding the third annual county leadership, working on revising that for '24. And this is just a continuation of Health and Human Services, some of the highlights that they've had, whether it be the adult daycare, senior services, housing, or human services. It's a lot of good information. IT, some of the highlights that they had there, they were able to migrate the sheriff's office onto their own Office 365 environment, continue to work with our partners, whether it be the City of Flagler Beach, the sheriff's office, or Palm Coast, looking at ways that we can combine activities. They've really taken the drone program to the next level. We've got more coming out of that department with GIS. Land management, again, they do a great job for a small, relatively small group. They continue to work on maintenance and management of our lands and natural resources, doing prescribed fire, invasive plant or animal removal, and a lot of community outreach and tours in the parks. Our public library system, this is a rendering of what the new facility would look like. It'd be the Nexus Center, which would be co-locating the Bunnell branch with our Health and Human Services. This is a list by the numbers of all of the circulated items, and revenue is increased over last year. This is a list of the various activities that they had. They do a tremendous job engaging in the youth and the community in hosting activities and programs there. Tourism, this is a rendering of what the tourism site would look like with the new eco-discovery system. Last year, tourism generated over $96 million in lodging sales, and we were welcomed by nearly 1 million visitors. Economic development, I know that they touch a lot of people coming into our community looking to move here, and sometimes it takes a little bit of time. Hopefully soon we have some great news to release there. But they've been doing a tremendous job answering those requests for information. As I mentioned earlier, we had a economic development workshop working with our community partners. We were able to bring back to you some ideas on incentives. Still moving forward with that, and we hope to bring that back to you for adoption. And then this is just living our culture. This is just all the awards and recognition that have been received over the past year. This isn't necessarily everybody who receives something. And then again, just employing that team approach in everything we do, producing a bigger and better idea or opportunity. And that is it. Thank you.
Very good report. Any comments from? It's very hard to add anything to the, between Jorge and you tonight. I think everybody that's listened has got a pretty good overview of everything that's going on in the county.
Wonderful.
Well, again, is there copies to hand out, or is it just the few that we had right now?
We have some that we can hand out. We don't have all of them.
I was just thinking if anybody in
timing.
our
If anybody
audience
wanted any, they could let us know. We can certainly
Okay.
make them available.
All right, very good.
That's great.
Thank you very much. And thank you again. It was great highlighting all the accomplishments of staff and all the different departments, so appreciate that.
If I could, I'd be remiss if I didn't thank Holly. She's actually the one who put it together for us. So we have to thank Holly for her creativity and being able to put that together.
Well, thank you, Holly.
Thank you. Hang in there.
Okay, all done with presentations. Appreciate everybody hanging with us here. We're going to open it up to community outreach. It's a 30-minute time period been allocated for public comment on any consent agenda item or topic not on the agenda. Each speaker will be allowed up to 3 minutes to address the commission. Speakers should approach the podium, identify themselves, and direct comments to the chair. So this time we'll open it up for public comment. Just come on up and state your name.
My name is Jan Cullinane, and actually I want to thank the commissioners. I think for the third time you've reappointed me to the Board of Trustees for the library, and I'm happy to be there.
Thank you for volunteering.
Yeah. So my husband, Roger, and I, we live at 27 Ocean Ridge Boulevard South. We've lived here for about 18 years and absolutely love it. We're fortunate. Our house is on the ocean. But I want to share with you something I feel needs to be addressed that I encountered recently on the beach. And I want to preface my remarks by saying I really have no issue with horses being on the beach, but the owners cannot leave the manure all over the beach. So on March 7th, I took a walk on the beach. I walked for a half hour south and then a half hour north. And going back and forth, there was a guide with 2 people on horses, so 3 horses all together. And as I walked south and then back north, I passed them a couple of times. And what I saw were clumps and clumps of manure all over the beach. I took pictures with my camera. I'm going to leave them with you with my phone. And when I saw her on the way back, I stopped and said, aren't horses required to wear diapers on the beach? And she said, no. And I said, well, but don't you have to pick it up? And she said, no, you just wait till high tide and it'll all wash into the ocean. And I said, I don't think so. I don't think it should work that way. My background is biology, microbiology. So in any event, she said that no, it would wash it into the sea. So there were some adults, there were children running around having to avoid the piles of manure. And because this was all close to the shore. So a few adults stopped and said, why are you taking those pictures? I said, because I feel something has to be done about this. And she said, and they said, we hope you do, and we hope you're successful. So I looked up our Flagler County Ordinance 7-4C6, and it says in it, riders must remove all animal waste from the county parks and parking areas and may not discard animal waste in public garbage receptacles. But the municipal code doesn't say anything about horse owners having to remove the horse manure. And if you look at projectcleanwater.com, there's an environmental impact if we just let the horse manure go into the ocean. Nutrient overload causing issues, seagrass beds being effective, water quality being effective. So I'm asking that the code get amended to require that horses wear diapers. You've probably seen that if you've been to Charleston, if you've been to New York City. These are diapers that the horses wear. They are reusable. You can buy them on Amazon for as low as $44. And this, I feel, should be the action that should be taken so that the manure is not left on the beaches. Thank you.
Thank you very much for your comments.
And I will, pictures with you, I can send them to you in color.
That's okay. Thank you.
Yeah, okay. and they'll-
We'll make sure they get the copies. Good evening.
Good evening, Commissioners. Chairman Dance. My name is Jody Bollinger. I live in the Hammock. When I attended the Planning Board BOCC workshop on the comp plan rewrite, I was heartened to hear several of you speak of the importance of protecting the Hammock area and the importance of conservation efforts. Chris from Inspire mentioned that the study areas were going to be looked at. The Barrier Island Princess Place is one of the study areas in the future land use element. He also mentioned looking at the Sumter County comp plan, so I did. What struck me in that plan is that different parts of the county have different FAR ratios for the same type of land use. For instance, commercial areas within urban development areas have higher FARs than those outside of the UDAs. The same for residential density. Low density, medium density, high density residential have different units per acre depending on location. So perhaps the Barrier Island could have lower density and intensity parameters. Within the Barrier Island area, the Scenic Corridor Overlay District needs to be highlighted, having goals, objectives, and policies. There are many undeveloped properties along A1A. They range in size from as small as a half acre to 17 acres. When the sewer's installed along A1A, development will explode. The comp plan needs to have protections in place so that Florida's Last Stand does not become another ubiquitous, overly commercialized area. Several elements in the comp plan state that Flagler County will work with the corridor management entities to ensure consistency with the corridor management plan. This is the corridor management plan along with the application for the scenic highway in 2001. It's about 150 pages. It lays out the vision for the scenic highway. Some of that vision has been implemented. Unfortunately, some has not. We've had commissioners in the past who look at the Scenic Corridor Overlay District in the comp plan, in the Land Development Code, which actually grew out of this corridor management plan as a deterrent for developers instead of a means to protect it. The future of the Hammock, which is native for peaceful place, is in your hands. As you are involved in future workshops and in adopting the revised comp plan, hopefully you will keep in mind what a special place the Hammock is and will advocate for its protection. Will your legacy be the demise of the Hammock or saving it for future generations? Thank you.
Thank you. Anybody else for public comment? Good evening.
Good evening, Robin Paletta, Halifax Plantation. I just was looking over the consent agreement or consent items, and I was looking at 7P for the ARPA funds, project funding, and I was wondering if we could have more details on what projects in particular and what amounts. Thank you.
Thank you. Anybody else wish to address the commission? All right, seeing none, I guess I could refer Robin to the workshop agenda, which had the breakdown of the ARPA funding. We had that workshop earlier today, so on the material, backup material for the workshop is that breakdown. If that's enough for you? Okay, thank you.
Mr. Chair, you might
Yes,
want
sir.
to point out on the ARPA funding, there was no material change to any of the project that we've already approved and discussed for the last couple of years. It's just,
Some shifting around
Yeah.
a little bit.
yeah, so, yeah.
Okay. Did anybody else have any comments on or follow-up? Did you need to follow up on any of those, Ms. Petito? I think the only one maybe was on the horse manure. I'm not quite sure where you want to go with that, but if
I believe staff had already responded via email or was working on formulating a response. I know
Okay.
that we had reached out to the sheriff's office as well as GTM NER, as well as the outfitters that are registered through Flagler County.
Okay. All right, thank you.
Mr. Chairman?
Yes, sir.
When we adopted that ordinance, that was a pretty well thought out ordinance with all the horse rider providers, the sheriff's office, this board, and it was a pretty well thought out deal. And the issue on the manure came up, and it was a universal agreement that it was not a problem. But I think we should go look at it again.
Okay.
Okay.
Thank you for those comments. Appreciate it. All right, so we'll move on to, I just want to make sure, any other public comments? All right, seeing none, we'll close public comment and move on to consent. Were there any board comments on any consent items that you wanted to highlight? Commissioner Sullivan.
I just wanted to give an award to the staff that on the consent item 7H, I think just on the agenda, that is now the longest agenda item I have had in the 7 years that I've been here. I think it's okay. We've made a change to it, but that's pretty long verbiage for an agenda item. A lot of stuff in there.
Well, I would say kudos to the transparency of making sure everything was included in just the item itself, not even the
Phil should
background.
get the
but-
award.
Absolutely. Anybody else wanted to mention anything? All right, seeing none, we'll go ahead and move on to consent.
Mr. Chairman, I move we approve the consent agenda.
Second.
I have a motion by Commissioner Hanson, seconded by O'Brien. All those in favor signify with aye.
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 Motion carries unanimously. Thank you. All right. We'll move on to public hearings. There's no general business tonight. The quasi-judicial, this public hearing is a quasi-judicial process. Audience should refrain from clapping, booing, or shouts of approval or disagreement to avoid potential legal ramification and possible overturning of a decision by the courts. A public hearing must be fair in 3 respects: form, substance, and appearance. Our item today is project number 20231000039, request for approval of a PUD site development plan and development agreement for Gardenside at Ormond Station Phase 2.
Chairman,
Miranda.
members of the board, Chuck Miranda, Assistant Growth Management Director.
Mr. Chairman,
Yes, sir.
you need to ask us if.
Was it?
Oh, very good, thank you. Did anybody have any public comment outside? Any quasi-judicial?
No.
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 Okay, and everybody says, no, I had none. Thank you.
Chuck Miranda, Assistant Growth Management Director. So this is a subdivision in Hunters Ridge. We have Kimberly Buck here to answer any questions, and we have a presentation from Simone on the project.
Good evening, Commissioners. Simone Kenny, Planner, Flagler County. This development dates back to 2016 with the former owners of the Hunters Ridge DRI. At that time, it was referred to as Iris Phase 2, intended to be extension of what at the time was called Iris Phase 1, which is now Gardenside Phase 1 at Ormond Station. This site is in the Hunters Ridge DRI, located north of Airport Road and just west of Celadine, and is now known as Gardenside Phase 2 at Ormond Station. Being part of the DRI, the future land use is mixed use low intensity, and the zoning is PUD. The site is not within a special flood hazard, with the entirety being located in flood zone X. Looking at the soils, it's predominantly a mixture of fine sand with a little bit of depressionals. Looking at the wetlands inventory, there are some wetlands located within the site. However, the developer has mitigation credits from the 400 acres of conservation that they gave us over to the west. Similar to Gardenside Phase 1, Gardenside Phase 2 has a mix of 40, 50, and 60-foot lots interspersed throughout the development. As an extension of Phase 1, access comes from Iris Branch Boulevard over to the west there and adds an additional 89 single-family detached lots. This development also includes a roadway utility extension to provide services to the area. Here you can see some of the phasing with Gardenside Phase 1 just to the south there. Again, access comes up Iris Branch Boulevard on the west side. And Gardenside Phase 1, final plat was approved last month and is currently under construction. Here you can see some of those wetland impacts, with primary impacts being in red, secondary in yellow, and preserved in green. Again, the developer has mitigation credits from the conservation that they gave us. As part of the PUD agreement, up to 5 of the lots can be used as temporary sales centers. We like to see just a graphic form of what that would look like in the application package. And the parking lots will be removed when the sites revert to being normal lots. Here's the table of site development requirements from the PUD agreement. Minimum lot size is 4,350 square feet. Minimum lot width measured at the setback is 40 feet. Setbacks are 25 in the front, 20 in the rear, 5 in the side, unless it is a corner lot, at which point the setbacks will be 11, 12 and a half, or 14 feet, depending on the lot width. Maximum building height is 35 feet, and the minimum living area is 1,250 square feet. So overview, again, this adds an additional 89 single-family detached lots, which is a mix of 40, 50, and 60-foot lots. Broken down, that is 26 40-foot, 45 50-foot, and 18 60-foot wide lots. Again, these lots are interspersed throughout the development. Access comes from Iris Branch Boulevard along the west side of the subdivision, with future roadway access coming from the north back to Hunters Ridge Boulevard. The site development plan includes a mail kiosk, and again, those temporary sales centers. And the Planning and Development Board unanimously recommended approval at its February 13th regular meeting. Options for the board. As the board, you may approve the PUD site development plan and the PUD agreement. You may deny the PUD site development plan and development agreement, or you may continue the site development plan and PUD development agreement to a time and date certain. I and Mr. Miranda are here for any questions, as well as, again, Kim Buck representing the applicant.
Thank you. Thank you for the presentation. Ms. Buck, did you want to say anything for the applicant?
Good evening, Kimberly Buck with Allen Engineering Group, representing the applicant, and really, it's pretty clear. I don't think I need to add anything, so I'll just be here to answer any questions.
All right, thank you very much. Commissioners, any questions for either staff or the applicant?
None.
None? All right. I didn't see anything materially different in this PUD than the prior one, so I don't have any questions either. With that, does anybody have a motion?
Yeah, Mr. Chairman, I move we approve the PUD site development plan and development agreement for Gardenside at Ormond Station Phase 2.
Is there a second?
Second.
All right, I need to open up for public comment. Is anybody here that would like to speak to this application for public comment? All right, seeing none. We'll go back. I have a motion by Commissioner Hanson, second by Commissioner O'Brien. All those in favor signify with aye.
Aye.
Hearing none opposed, motion carries unanimously.
Simone, nice job.
Yep,
Thank you.
I think Adam's going to lose his job.
Adam who?
All right, we'll move on to reports and comments. County Administrator, your report this evening. You have any else thing to add?
Real quick, just a couple things. Last week, we had our city-county school board quarterly meeting where we meet to discuss opportunities where we can come together and partner. We discussed an opportunity where maybe we could work together through an internship, kind of a mentor program with some school-age children, exposing high school students to local government as a way of maybe generating some workforce opportunities in the future. Flagler Beach was willing to take the lead in crafting a draft interlocal that then we would all take a look at, but seemed very promising as a way to maybe develop some young talent in our community. Internally, another item that we've been working on, we've been working on the department budgets and our capital improvement program for the first year. And then the departmental budgets are due this week. We're going to continue to work on that before we bring that to you. And I just wanted to let you know that Thursday I will be out of the office. I need to attend the FGUA strategic plan meeting down in, I think it's Winter Park, something like that. It's like 2 hours away, but I'll have my phone on me and Jorge will be in charge while I'm out.
Okay,
Thank you.
thank you. All right, County Attorney report, Mr. Hadid.
Just very briefly, we did receive the order from the court in the City of Ormond Beach case, abating the case, that is, holding, stopping all of the legal proceedings in that case for a period of 90 days. That takes us to about June 9th, not about, that takes us to June 9th. So that gives us time to resolve our issue with the city so that the case can go away. That basically, he's giving us 90 days, doesn't mean he won't extend it, and hopefully we can do it in less than that. We have prepared the substitute easement. You know, we are replacing the broader easement that was given to us transactionally, which we didn't design that transaction. That was required by the DRI. So what the new easement does is it scales our use of the 40 grade. That's the logging road that runs up through our conservation parcel and also runs across some Ormond Beach land designated for conservation, so that we can use it for the purpose we intended, which is to manage the property for conservation purposes, manage the timber, be able to access in the event of wildfires, et cetera, and for the public recreation functions. So we're almost completed that document. We'll be sending it to the city for the city to review. So that's on the Ormond Beach case. And hopefully that'll resolve it. They may have some comments about what we send, and that's fine. We certainly want to have a dialogue or a collaboration and all be happy with the way it's worded and framed. So for instance, it prohibits our turning it into a public thoroughfare. It prohibits our paving it, you know, things we've already agreed to. It's, when you read it, it's not going to be anything new to you except maybe the choice of the words we used, but it's going to be consistent with everything that you have discussed and that we have discussed with you. All right, so that's that case. On the Dixie Motel case, they did file an appeal from the demolition order, so we're going to have to process that with a special master and have that tried. They also have come in with a revised site plan, and that is scheduled for TRC, Technical Review Committee, for this Wednesday. So we're making sure that all the procedures are followed, whether it's judicial or whether it's from the International Property Management Code, which we've adopted for Flagler County. So we're sticking with those legal procedures as we process the case. And that's it, unless you have any questions.
Do you sense any sincerity on the part of these people? I mean, this is, they just look like they're kicking the can down the road again, you know?
It is a more significant effort than they've made, and we'll have to see. The development staff, as is required by our code, they've looked at the proposal and have made their comments. So, you know, there's still a ways to go. I don't know what will happen. Obviously, by the way, is a proceeding that's in the public, the Technical Review Committee. It's at 9 o'clock this Wednesday. It's item number 5. We don't broadcast it though. Somebody wants to know what's going on, they need to attend.
How does anybody? How will that work in correlation with the special magistrate having submitted that, and will that influence or in your opinion, their thoughts that they are making an attempt again? Or will it look like another delay?
I can't predict. It's going to be, the special magistrate is like a judge. You have to
Right.
think of the special magistrate as a judge. So I cannot forecast how the special magistrate may receive that evidence. Obviously, not obviously, but likely they're going to present it as their good faith.
Right.
Look, we're moving on it, and they'll identify, a plethora of problems of why they haven't been able to move forward. That's just going to be the standard fare. And then obviously we're going to put on our case. And our case is based on the building officials finding, based on the code, those items have been very specifically identified as to the defaults of that owner, and how they may choose to attempt to overcome it with the special master, I don't know. That's going to remain to be seen.
But this application for site plan, it should be a full set of engineered drawings, so it's not a small endeavor.
That's correct.
If they do stormwater design and piping and everything else.
That is correct. You may recall, I don't remember last meeting or the meeting before when I updated you on this, I'd indicated that they had submitted a plan and it had been deemed defective by our building official. So this is in response to that determination that that plan was defective. This is a much fuller presentation, and by the way, it's accessible online if somebody wanted to look at it. And you can see the degree that they have attempted to engineer it, but our staff has identified a number of issues.
Okay. Is this going through TRC instead of just going through staff? It's going through TRC for what reason?
Well, it's required by our code. It includes a representative, for instance, from fire prevention, the public health department, the county engineering department, not the county, the development engineer. We have that separated out from the county engineering department. Legal, we look at the zoning issues, so forth. I know I'm leaving others out that aren't popping to mind, but basically all the different aspects of a development that intersect with the land development code to make sure that it is being designed appropriately in accordance not just with the land development code, but also the building code and the fire safety code, et cetera.
Just wanted to make that clear. Thank you.
Yes.
Any
Thank
other
you for the
questions?
question.
Well, I just had comments.
Okay.
But
Oh,
did you
yeah, we're
wanna
not there
start?
yet.
Yeah,
Yep.
We're not there yet. No.
Just
nothing
make
on
sure
that.
nobody had any-
It would be nice to get that Old Dixie Motel issue taken care of, but we got to do it legally.
All right. Yep. Next up is community outreach. So wanted to open up for community outreach, and everybody's left.
All those community people.
All right. Seeing none, we'll go ahead and move to commission comments. Mr. Hanson,
I have none.
Commissioner Pennington.
Cracker Day, March
Absolutely.
30th, I believe. So please come out and join that. And I'm really excited about Bull Creek. So I'm glad that went through tonight. I guess that's the part where I say yippee-ki-yay. It's going to be beautiful, and I think the community is going to love it.
Commissioner Sullivan.
Yeah, just to keep following up, Commissioner O'Brien and myself are on the canvassing board. There is an election going on right now. It's the presidential primary, just Republican primary, and in Flagler, city of Flagler Beach, there's an election for one of the offices there on the city council. Just in general, a very small turnout. So far, with early voting and mail-in voting, we're at 8,611 votes. That's only like 18% of the possible people who could vote. And tomorrow is Election Day. Okay, so all the precincts will be open, and we'll know who the results by tomorrow evening. So that goes on. And my other possible additional action is we just had the state legislature finish up their budget for the year. It now goes to the governor, but that could take, it could be June before the governor finally makes his decisions. We had a number of action items that we went forward with as far as what, in the way of funding and priority orders, things like vacation rental came out in our favor, but there are a number of other items that are either partially funded or not funded. It's also at the same time we're doing the budget for next year. So I kind of like, rather than wait till we find out what the governor does, to have some kind of idea, the impact of the decisions that were made by the legislature, how they could possibly have a positive or a negative effect, or workarounds like you addressed earlier tonight, how we'll go on given what the legislature has put forward. So I think that's something you're probably thinking about working on, but something that generally you can come back to me as a commissioner or the other commissioners. That's my comments.
Internally, last week, we actually met to take a look at those projects to see if they came in half-funded, how do we fill that gap, and can we continue to do those projects? I can create a spreadsheet or something that I can share with all of you. We have a plan for each one of those scenarios.
Right, because I think it could affect the budget as we go forward into the future.
Potentially.
Yeah, thank you. Commissioner O'Brien.
I read one of the press releases that Julie Murphy did this past week that was in my email, and I just wanted to take a moment and congratulate Chief Tucker and his team for the recognition from the Florida Department of Health as an outstanding organization. I just wanted to read this real quick just to get it on the record. This is from Julie's press release. The Florida Department of Health last month wrote to Flagler County Fire Rescue the following: congratulations on your outstanding compliance monitoring site survey conducted by the Bureau of Emergency Medical Oversight back in February. We found no deficiencies during our site survey. Your vehicles and service records were outstanding. Thank you for being a role model of excellence as an EMS provider in the state of Florida. And just some other comments after that. So thank you, Chief, for all you do, and thank your team.
Mr. Chairman?
Yes,
a
sir.
couple things that missed. We have this weekend, we have the Warbirds at the airport, Saturday and Sunday both.
Would you just jump in to take that from me?
Yeah, and then the Carver Gym, also, we have the Midnight Madness on Saturday night.
Yes.
So those are two events that we need to support.
Thank you. Well, with that, I have nothing else to say, so.
Mr. Chairman, I move we adjourn.
A second?
Second.
All right, thank you. Meeting adjourned. Thank you, everybody.